Hi there, it's Mr. Tush over at Global with another hint video on 3.07 in your portfolio. This one talks about parity error checking. And we did go over this in class, but it is a little bit complex. Let's go over what the questions say. First of all, it asks how the error card trick from the error detection lesson uses a parity scheme. Now, when I did this in class, if you remember what I showed you, I came up with what's called an even parity scheme, meaning I looked for the evens in each direction. When I added the sixth row, I created an even parity scheme. So there was always 0, 2, 4, or 6 cards up on every row. And then when I went across the bottom, there were always 0, 2, 4, and 6 up in every column. That created an even parity scheme. And that's how when I turned around, somebody flipped a card, and there was now one row and one column that had an uneven, or an odd rather, uh, parity scheme, and an odd number of up in both the vertical and the horizontal. And so when the row and the column intersected, that was the card that was flipped. Now, what are some limitations of using this? Well, it will tell one error. It won't tell more than one error. And then this one here asks you to research checksum. Now, by research, I know a lot of folks can end up at this Wikipedia site right here. And that's really not a problem. We did ask you to research it, and this is not a scholarly piece, but it's a pretty simple explanation of it. But the big concern is that you put this in your own words. You're going to want to say something along the lines of, with a block of data, a checksum is a small block of data attached to a larger file that has a sum of the data in the file. And if the sum that the checksum block says equals the file itself, then there is likely not to be an error. If the sum in the checksum block does not equal the size of the block itself, then there probably is an error. It's just another way of checking errors. It's like parity error checking, only a little bit more complex. But make sure that when you put that in here, you put that in your own words. Again, the checksum is basically, it's a small size data block that indicates the size of the block it is attached to. And if those two match, then there's less likely to be an error. If they don't match, there is likely to be an error. Fundamentally, that's how it works. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's as much as you need to know. This fourth one is an optional one, but I encourage you to try to get it. It's really the difference between two words, the words detection and correction. What is the difference between the two? And if you can explain that, you're probably going to get this answer right. I hope that helps. Good luck.